Mason County Joint Planning Commission now, roll call.
David Reed.
Here.
John Hutchings. Here. John Best.
Here.
Kirby Rosser.
Yes, sir.
Gerald Woods.
Here.
Rick Lawrence.
Here.
Michael Parker.
Here.
George Larger. I'm here. Michael Clark. Here.
Okay, next on the agenda, the minutes of April 1st, 2026 special meeting. Is there any corrections, deletions, additions that we need to make before I ask for a motion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved. I'll second.
Kirby. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Old business, matter of record. You had this in your packet. Matter of record, findings of fact, zoning map amendment, public hearing, Maysville, Mason County Industrial Development Authority, 28 properties, 2,080 acres, north of Germantown Road at the intersection of Germantown Road and Valley Pike and Big Pond Pike. Is there any discussion, corrections, deletions, anything needed before we ask for a motion to record this in the record? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay. I have a motion, do I have a second?
Support.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay. Matter of record.
One second. Let me get your signatures for that. Something I usually forget.
Alright, matter of record, supporting and submitted documents, zoning map amendment, public hearing, Maysville, Mason County Industrial Development Authority, 28 properties, 2,080 acres, north of Germantown Road at the intersection of Germantown Road and Valley Pike, Big Pond Pike.
Okay. So I'll take it. So I made a list of all the documents that should probably be put in the record for this, most of which were in your packets. We don't have the transcripts yet, but we're going to have a meeting next month so we can enter them into the record then. We just put the findings of fact into the record, made those a matter of record. So this is in no particular order. So the map amendment application, that's this. I didn't give you guys another copy of that. The development plan, which is mostly this. The April 1st minutes that you all just approved. The two written submissions for the rezoning. Hank Grady's submission, I guess he actually had three because they were also, there was what he submitted plus there were two proposed findings of fact. There was the prospect presentation. There were two sets of site renderings that went with that. There was an updated buffering plan from what was in this originally. And then there's my staff report for the rezoning and then the staff report for the development plan, which we're going to talk about. So is there anything else that we're forgetting that should be put into the record?
Can we, Mr. Chair, can we tell what was not in here? Should that be part of the matter of record? Such as the economic development plan, which we base this whole thing on, and the environmental assessment plan. They are not in there.
Well, this had, I don't think that stuff wasn't required by the ordinance that was passed.
It was in the original plan, but it may not be now.
No,
it's not taken out.
So, yeah, if it wasn't submitted, that's not a document.
Did you also say that the presentations, the PowerPoint presentations, they included as well?
Yeah, there was only one. It was the prospects. So yeah, I think that's in your.
I have as well. I hear you say that.
Is there anything else?
Is there anything I'm forgetting when I put that? No, it's a-
Heard the list of, we want to enter into the matter of record. Do I have a motion to enter all those documents mentioned, with the exception of the testimony that will be next month at our meeting?
The transcripts.
Transcripts.
Yes, the testimony is captured in the findings.
Yeah, the testimonies, I did my very best to summarize the testimony that was presented. That was a lot of typing.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion to enter those in the record.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. New business, data center development plan.
Okay, so it's important to point out that Kirby alluded to just a minute ago, that what constituted the development plan from what you all recommended to the fiscal court wasn't what ended up being the development plan in ordinance 2601. There are a lot of different plans required by the regulations, and they're still in there for the most part. But now it's mostly just site planning. We turn off. So let me get the projector running, because it must stand by. We tested it. You can sit there and you shouldn't be destroyed by it. That's assuming we can get the stupid thing running. Does it say no source down there?
Yes.
So,
There it goes.
yeah. So I'm going to turn it off, turn it back on, and did this earlier. Yay, technology.
It puts itself to sleep to protect the bulb.
Yeah, I think I just turned it off. So. Come on. Come on. There we go. So this is up here in case you all want to look at it while we're talking about it. That was an epic sigh. Yeah. I'll put that in the minutes.
Searching for a HVAC hardware.
Yeah, we're plugged in. Come on. Well, anyway, I'm going to continue on with this. Maybe it'll figure out what's going on. So, what's that? No, it's on. It's searching for an HD. Like this, or not periodically.
Yeah, you have most of your money.
Yeah, I know. This is why I love technology, yo. All right. So anyway, so basically I sat down with David Board and one or a few others. Most of it is, the first half is site planning involving, again, structure, service roads, et cetera, preliminary utility plan, which basically just means their layouts on their water, sanitary, sewer, industrial, water utility layout, all that kind of stuff that's located. And that stuff's all in there. We check those boxes. And it's just basically showing how they have so far envisioned laying it out. And these plans are preliminary. It says that in the regulations. So they could change them as long as they fulfill the regulations, setbacks, structure heights, et cetera, et cetera. They're welcome to change them. The next two are a little bit more involved. The narratives related to those were actually in the original application, pages 10 to 14. And so, they show the grading contours and they describe how they, the grading plan, they're planning to move earth around such that they don't have to bring it back in, and they show all the different slopes of things like sidewalks, sidewalks, pedestrian walkways and ramps, 2% maximum cross slope following ADA requirements, substation minimum 5%, maximum 1%, parking areas minimum 1%, maximum 4% grade. So it goes through that, and there's a narrative there, and it seems pretty straightforward. So the next one is, I lost my place. It is the preliminary landscape plan. Well, I'm sorry. Let's see here. And they actually C is grading and drainage, and so they also shared their design choices for that. And interestingly enough, the Energy and Environment Cabinet didn't have any design standards, so they actually used the design standards from the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Highway Design Drainage Manual. And so that's how they calculated their flows, and that's how they also, with those flows, they used those to design all of their retention ponds. And that's on, so that's the grading narrative. So then you see they'll have 15 retention ponds, and those are the sizes of them. And that is a cross section of it. I know it's difficult to read there, but they give you the different amounts here. And they're designed to withstand, be able to deal with a 24-hour storm that's a 2, 10, and 100 year. They also had to design around the fact that a big enough retention pond would have to get permits for dam they would have to get permits for damming. They had to keep them, it couldn't be more than 25 feet in height, and they had to have lower capacity than 50 acre feet. So that's 50 acres, the depth was 1 foot, that much bulk. That's their contour and drainage plan. And these particular ponds, they are there to both drain the water and also capture any particles or anything. It's related to water quality. And they mentioned in the original application of it looks like they actually have to get state and federal permits for that. But I think they're going to go basically, it's described about how they have to go through the state, but it's in concert with a permit from the federal government. There's that. And then at the very end, your buffering plan is its description. The last 2 pages. The updated, this is not the updated one. The updated one's actually on the second page of my staff report because they included some buffering down here. And then they have calculations on the next page for just how many. They're either going to do all with trees or they're going to have a mix of trees and bushes. And it's quite a few. It's like 6,000 trees or 2,000 trees plus 20,000 shrubs, approximately. Can't really read those very well. And then here are all their design standards for it. They seem pretty straightforward as well. So, I mean, I did go through all the other plans too. That stuff was in the original application. There were only a couple issues, only one of which deals with the development plan that I had. But otherwise, that's the development plan. It's the site planning, utility planning for the site, the water drainage and grading, and the screening, buffering plan. Y'all have any questions?
Do they meet all the checkbox?
Yeah, I think so.
So on the burning, there's a percentage that we burn year round, and for density, was it 80%, or the trees that was chosen meet those requirements?
Yes, so they actually show what their screening should look like. It's down here.
And those are evergreens?
Yeah, I mean, if they have to do it year round, they should be. Let me see if I can read I think I have a close-up of the type of trees it would be. Now, it does say these are preliminary plans, so if they find a better option, sorry. Norway spruce, autumn blazes, spring and maple, as long as it meets the 80% coverage the entire year.
And George, I had another question about the burn around other areas. Did you say some additional research on that? Or?
Yes. So one of the issues related to the development plan that I saw is that technically in the regulations that the fiscal court passed, ordinance 601, this is along Germantown Road, and you're required to have screening and buffering with a berm along collector roads. And Germantown Road is a collector. I went out there earlier just to check to see why, and for most of that distance, topography and existing greenery are going to be more than adequate for it. It's when you get around here that it gets questionable. There is a lot of greening along the road, but I'm not sure if it would actually have 80% cover year round. So you all could make a condition that either they extend the berm or they ensure that existing conditions are adequate to fulfill the regulations. I would imagine they've already researched this, but
So George, on that question, does the ordinance say that, we didn't take into account topography, though, that it just said 80% on sensitive use and connector roads?
well, you just have to screen it. The landscaping, berming, screening has to be 80% the entire year. So, I mean, if...
Well, there's nothing on there right now, and you said topography causes that.
Well,
The ordinance doesn't say that, does it?
the regulations do encourage the use of existing green screen. And there is a lot of it there. Now, whether or not, if it were November, I can tell you if it did 80%, but right now I can't tell you. It's right around here, a good 70 to 80% around here in topography, and it's mostly topography.
I guess I'm just thinking, if you did make that, extend that berming, that would just be added trees and add landscaping. This would just further protect anything that would ever happen,
If it's necessary, yeah. I would condition to say, if necessary to meet the regulations, either extend the berm or make findings that it's not necessary. Because you can approve the development plan with conditions.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just be more in favor if there's an opportunity to put a berm or not berm, and it's a 50-50 with the err on the side of more protection versus no protection.
Yeah. And this work's probably already been done, so they probably have a good answer for that. I just haven't seen it. Or it might have been described during the public hearing, and I was timing and didn't get a chance to hear it. But it's just something. It's a concern that it either needs to be addressed or findings need to be made that it's unnecessary. It's pretty cut and dry up here. It's not so much around here where this line is pretty much pretty close to big.
Yeah, I would be in favor of extending it where, I don't know if you'd say it's necessary, it's around the connector. I know the popular place, big point, but I would, whatever those conditions were, that add the most protection to it.
Yeah, but I mean, if as I was driving by, like I said, it's pretty clear cut up here, not so much here, but topography and existing conditions might be adequate. It's just, I don't know that for sure. So I wouldn't condition them, I mean, this is my opinion, to necessarily require them to extend that. Require them to extend it if it's necessary, if they don't have the evidence that current conditions will screen it adequately. Does that make sense? The other issue I found is not really related to the development plan, but I will discuss it. I think it's in the community, whatever that plan is. It talks about EMS response. I was having this conversation with Fire Chief Carpenter, that the emergency response is almost completely EMS, and there's a reason for that. It's because where this site is, the entity that would be responsible for responding to a fire here is the Fernley Volunteer Fire Department. And I mean no disrespect to them, but I don't know that they would be able to provide the level of service required to deal with a fire here. So I'm assuming as we spoke about the economic development and all the benefits that local governments are supposed to determine that they're going to get, including maybe infrastructure, that some decisions need to be made about who's going to address a fire there. But that's above our pay grade here at the moment. But I wanted to mention. So what do y'all think about the development plan? You have any questions?
Are you suggesting that should be put in a condition, or are you saying?
No, I just wanted to mention that was just one of the few issues I found. I mean, that's not part of the development plan, but I'm assuming it's going to be addressed because it needs to be addressed. But those, my boss, the city manager, he said that kind of stuff is going to be dealt with very soon.
Carmen, you got anything else you want
Yeah, environmental impact statement.
So
It's not in there, so.
well, it's not part of the development.
It's not part of it.
Yeah. I mean, there's stuff in the application for it.
Personally, I think it's a mistake. That's personal.
Well, I know that I think there were some things that were a big ask in what we sent there, but I was pretty happy with most of what was sent. Any other questions?
Anything down there? Michael? Good. What do I need?
So we need a motion to either approve with conditions, or disapprove of the development.
All right, I need a motion to either approve with conditions or to approve as is,
Or disapprove.
or just.
Just a dumb question. I'm pounding on this environmental impact assessment. They will be required to do it, I'm sure. The question I have is, will we ever see it? Will we ever see it? Even though this thing may pass, will we ever be privy to that information?
I mean, I'm assuming that stuff is public record with the state, because it'll all need to be done. They'll have to get all the relevant permits with the state.
And on those permits, I guess they'll come when they're needed.
Yeah.
They'll apply for it as needed, and then how's that work, George? Who oversees the benchmark that they have to meet? Is that the state, or is that a combination of local and state?
It all depends on the permit and who they have to get it with. And there's a list that they provided right here.
Right.
And they give status and they give time frame. They've got one for water quality standards and discharge. It's it's kind of confusing. I think it's through the state, but it's also in concert with an application to the Army Corps of Engineers, and that's a Section 404 permit, which includes, but I don't think it's limited to Endangered Species Act, National Historic Preservation Consultation. I'm assuming that 404 it covers anything that would be relevant to the federal government, and that would include water quality standards because of back in the 70s, the water quality, whatever the act was. And then there's a stormwater permit, stormwater pollution prevention plan, stream construction application because there is a floodplain. There's a floodplain along Valley Pike. So if they're going to be developing, they need to get that through the state. They need to go through the Kentucky Heritage Council for a 106 review. They have to make sure they've got to get a Division of Air quality air permit. So that was in the original application. And these were the statuses and the time frames as of March last month.
You want to put that condition in there, Michael?
I was gonna
Set
say-
in the burn if necessary.
Yes.
So we're saying either extend the existing burn if it's found to be necessary to meet the regulations.
Right.
If the existing conditions, we'll write this down. Extend the berm and landscaping and screening along Germantown Road for sections, the existing conditions of which do not adhere to Mason County Fiscal Court Ordinance 2601. Is that what my one?
I think so.
Okay. So I'm assuming you're the first then.
Sounds good to me.
Second?
I'll say.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Agreed. Motion hiring an attorney for litigation on behalf of Mason County Joint Planning Commission, Jeffrey C. Mando, Adams Law.
You want to take this?
So the lawsuit that was filed, the county, through their general liability policy, the county was sued, and through their insurer, their insurance company has hired an attorney as part of the policy to represent the county in the lawsuit. The Joint Planning Commission is covered under the city's policy. And the city submitted a lawsuit to their insurance company. And their insurance company, for insurance reasons, essentially said, we're not paying for an attorney on this. But the county and the city determined that the interests of the Joint Planning Commission and the county are essentially not adverse, and it would be appropriate to have the same attorney represent both entities. And that attorney is willing to do that, but he would request that this body approve the hiring of him for purposes of this litigation. I don't think it's going to cost any additional money. I think it's just insurance companies being insurance companies, to be frank.
Can you give us some background in regard to the attorney?
Excuse me?
Can you give us some background?
So his name is Jeff Mando. He is employed, or he's a partner at Adams Law, which I believe is the successor entity to Adams, Stepner, Wolter. It's a pretty pretty well-known in Northern Kentucky, Covington, I think, law firm. And I believe that he does a lot of municipality work, representing cities, counties, planning and zoning commissions. This certainly would not be his first rodeo, insofar as this kind of lawsuit is concerned. He's pretty experienced, and I think he does this kind of work all the time.
And it was recommended by the county's insurance.
He is the attorney that has been hired by the insurance company that insures the Mason Fiscal Court.
Yes.
And so he will be representing the fiscal court regardless. I've heard his name, sorry George, I have heard his name a lot in these kinds of things.
I don't see a problem.
I was asked to put this on the agenda because it's important. Somebody thinks it's important for you guys, for your consent.
We'll have a motion to accept him as our counsel.
I'll motion.
Okay. Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We can get along. Next meeting, May 6th, 2026, will be a regular meeting over in the...
Yeah, it'll be a normal, regular meeting. The reason we're holding this, for those beneficiaries, since we don't have transcripts yet, we'll enter those into the record. The main reason is, if you all recall, I presented a text amendment proposal to you all, qualified manufactured homes. And you all passed a motion to hold a public hearing after the data center stuff is all done. And so there's kind of a deadline that we're working for because the state is, they're pretty much imposing these regulations on us. And it's July 1st, and we need to get this stuff done.
So what about the state putting pressure? What did you say?
Well, for better or worse, one of the ways the state has decided to address the housing crisis is there is a new class of manufactured home called qualified manufactured home. And it meets certain standards to be qualified manufactured homes. And what they've basically done is in most places where you can have a single family home, you can put these. And so we want to go ahead and get our regulations in place before that just starts on the 1st, because July 1st is when it takes effect. So as I recall, it's a very simple proposal. There are things that you can regulate in order to regulate them, but in order to regulate those, you have to regulate all other single family dwellings like roof pitch and appearance. And we don't really do that locally. We just want to set where, we just want to put it in our regulations so we're ready to go when the law takes effect.
Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.